I want to talk about stem cells because this is a big conversation in the autism community and we get this question very often. Have we done stem cell therapy for Kaido? No. We never felt the need to do stem cell therapy because we created the conditions for his body to create the stem cells and actually be able to use them. I know that a lot of family travel to other countries, one of those being Panama, where they get stem cell therapies for their kids, which can be very expensive. I don't judge any parent who goes above and beyond to try to do anything that will benefit their kid. Okay, this video is not going to be about that. It's going to be about why we haven't done it, why we have felt like it's not necessary for us to do stem cell therapy. For one, I'm not a big fan of anything invasive, and I think that that's one of the reasons why we chose to do everything as natural as possible. So the body already has stem cells. We're born with them. Stem cell therapy is not the only way to access healing. The real question is whether or not the body has the right conditions. And this is why stem cell therapy has such mixed results from different families. Some families see life-changing progress, and some families see a little bit of progress, and others just don't see any progress at all. That has less to do with stem cell and more to do with the environment they're being introduced into. Stem cells cannot repair a body that is inflamed, toxic, or stuck in survival mode. So instead, we focused on the inside of our son. We wanted to heal him from the inside out. When Kaido regressed, he was almost 3 years old. He was diagnosed with autism level 3, and Kaido had a lot of behaviors and symptoms that he doesn't have today. He had no eye contact. He walked on his tippy toes. He will harm himself. He used to flap his hands often, had a lot of vocal stimming, made no eye contact, and so many others. We began with a watermelon fast. I've mentioned this in the past. We did a 4-day watermelon fast out of desperation. This is when we didn't know what we know today, and we still got so much benefit from that. With a 4-day watermelon fast, Kaido was able to get eye contact back and reduce the walking on the tippy toes at least 90%. We knew we were onto something, and we were like, nothing can stop us from here. We continued to learn how to support his body better. We were seeing a lot of information online, but we tried to structure something for him that will be tailored for him and that we will be okay with. I've been on this journey since Kaido was 3. He's 8. And in the past few years, and since creating this page, I noticed that there's an overwhelming amount of information online. And there's always some truth to all information you hear. But it's impossible to try to use that information for you and your child if you haven't been able to stick to something, at least one thing, long enough to notice whether or not you get results. I think when it comes to food, nutrition, herbs, food, fruits, vegetables, you cannot go wrong with whole foods. My son has a clean diet for the most part. My son drinks green juice often, as you may already know from our page. We reduce toxins in his environment. We prioritize sleep. We prioritize for him to have regular bowel movements. We are always on top of his hydration. We're always looking for sunlight anytime possible. Like, we even purchased a house in the Dominican Republic to be able to have access to the sun because we were told that he was deficient in vitamin D. I'm always going to mention this. Even with supplements, a lot of times the supplements are good. The thing is that they are supplements. They're supposed to supplement the source. So what does the source look like for you and your child? Their source is their regular everyday foods. Their regular consumption. What are they consuming every day? What does that look like? If that is not full of minerals and vitamins and natural compounds that are going to enter his body and actually work for him, then you're going to give him the supplements and it's going to be challenging for the body to absorb it. And oftentimes we believe that something doesn't work, and it's not that it doesn't work, it's that the body's not ready to receive that kind of supplement because it's not working properly at the moment. When it comes to the conversation of folate, folinic acid, and leucovorin, I get that question a lot. We don't give it to Kaido. We don't feel the need to try any of that because Kaido's nutrition is A1. It's on point. He is getting folate through his food. So his body is reacting properly to his food. He doesn't need stem cells therapies because the foods that he received help him create stem cells. He doesn't need an overload of supplements because the foods that he consumes regularly contain the minerals in a lot of these supplements. If he's not getting it in the herbs, he's getting it in the foods. Regardless, it's still food. Herbs are food. So with that being said, the amount of supplements that we have to use for Cairo are very minimum. We do use vitamin D because I live in Pennsylvania and the sun is almost non-existent. We do use certain vitamins for him. It's probably no more than 2, 3. A lot of times you do know that your child needs magnesium, so you have a supplement. You have a magnesium supplement. You know your child needs zinc, so you have a zinc. Child is deficient in B vitamins, so you buy complex B or whatever. So there are so many in mineral deficiencies that our kids have that if you start buying a supplement for every mineral deficiency, it's gonna be a lot. And quite honestly, their body cannot take so much. Like in a span of 24 hours, not even, because you need time to sleep. So during the day, let's say they don't go to school. During the day, how many supplements can you get into this child's body? And then, there are like multi-minerals or multivitamins that contain different vitamins all in one. But still, if you don't create the conditions for the body to process these supplements, then it's pointless, So that is the reason why you won't really hear me or my husband talk about, we're going to try this, we're going to try that. However, my take is that if you have an extremely picky eater, a kid that is not allowing you to get these nutrients from the source into their bodies, then supplementation is very necessary. But I think that your ultimate goal should be for their body to naturally repair itself and work. Another thing you don't want is for your child to depend on a supplement to work. You don't want that. You're gonna supplement them, but you want the body to work on its own. And the only way that happens is when you create the right environment. Today, Cairo is 8 years old and his symptoms are almost non-existent. I'm not saying he's not on the spectrum. He's still on the spectrum. But if you can see on my page the progress that my son has had, this is all with food, including herbs, food, fruits, and vegetables. Lots of greens, green juice. Just so much we've done over the years that has put us in this position. I hope this helps. I intend to answer all of your questions. If you have any more questions, please put them in the comments and we will do our best to get back to you. Another thing, make sure your child's foundation is solid before you depend on an external factor such as a supplement.